Greetings, IT 510 STEM students. This is Professor Glass, and for the online version of the class, preparatory to lab number 1, you're getting a little bit of a lecture similar to the explanations that students received in class. Lab 1 is to introduce you to using the shell in Linux. And what is the shell? There is a document on Blackboard with this lab, but we'll go over and show you a little bit also. And here are notes, and here is an actual shell. It's in a terminal window. And the terminal window is for typed chat. So ultimately you're going to be doing something very much like typed chat, except you'll be chatting with the operating system. The kernel of the operating system is the part which runs the computer. It manipulates the hardware, manages each program, does I/O, does network operations, does all kinds of things. And that's traditionally called the kernel. And the name shell comes from what? That's what is outside and touching the kernel, and is something that you can actually see and touch. I'm not persuaded that this is why it's called a shell, but that is, anyway, the belief, the etymology. So the shell is going to be a program that you can talk to, and it talks to the kernel. The shell also, it has a lot of functions besides just you using it manually. But you will learn to do more of those functions in this class, some of them. But for a first approximation, this is pretty good. So you'll be using your terminal window, and one line of typed chat that you type is called the command line. So you can type into the shell in your terminal window. I will type like this. I will type like this. And after I get done typing, it will type stuff back. So what have we done here? What we've done is we've gotten some information about the CPU that this computer is running on. So this computer is running. So that's information that we need to go to the kernel to get. A command line has normally a command. In this case, the command is called head. And head takes the head of a file. It just takes a few lines out of a normally readable file and displays them to you. That's all it does. This is the switch or the options. Usually they have a hyphen, and -9 means I just want to see 9 lines. And then you have your arguments or parameters for the file, and that's, in this case, that's a file, or for the command. That's a file that we're giving to the command. The part to the left is called the prompt. So this is the prompt, and this is sitting there waiting for you to type. Usually the prompt has some information in it, not always. So in this case, the information is telling us what computer we're on and some other information which is not showing, I guess. Okay, so that's the main idea. A question you will have is, how do you get to a Linux command line for purposes of doing your lab? That'll be provided separately, but we have some server computers that you can access remotely from your home. The servers are here on campus, and you will get a terminal window with a command, a shell and command line that you can do the lab. So how do we do the labs? We're going to do the labs by doing the commands on the command line, and then you will copy-paste into a document. So this document is up on Blackboard. So you'll download the document and you'll start it in a word processor. I'm using LibreOffice Writer. And you'll start it in a word processor. And then you'll copy-paste what you typed on the result into your document. Okay? So just to take the last one first, the last command you'll need to type is who am I? And that'll tell you which user you're logged in as. So the who is the user which is right now running that command, that shell. So if I type that, there's no arguments, no switches, no parameters, nothing. It tells me the username here is mglass. Now we want to copy paste, so you'll select it, and an unfortunate thing will happen if you type Control-C to copy. It doesn't. It's not actually copying anything. Control-C is actually used for canceling programs. So if I had a program running there, I could cancel it. But so if you want to copy paste, I suggest you go to the top of that window and copy. It also has Control-Shift-C, that's pretty usual. So your terminal window where the shell is running will have some copy function. And then we can go over to your document and paste. There we are. That would be Control-V. That works. All right, and that's really all you need to do. You need to run the commands and copy the paste in. So what are the commands that are in this first lab? Well, this first lab is basically just to give a little taste of using the command line and the types of things you can get. And so the uptime command will tell you how long the computer has been running. And it tells you it's been, right now at the time is 1803, and it's been up for 9 days, and blah. Okay. Let me show you right now a useful switch, a useful on most commands is -H. And -H will frequently get you help. So this is telling us that if I use -P or --pretty, those will be the same thing. I'll get uptime in a pretty format. -S will say when it rebooted, up since whenever time. So instead of saying up for 9 days and 5 hours and 47 minutes, it'll say when that was. And then this gives me some version information, which won't be very interesting. It's version information about the uptime command itself. Okay? So let us try that. So it's 1 week, 2 days, 5 hours, and 48 minutes. So instead of 9 days like that, it's like that. And if I say since, here we have since the 16th at now 12:15. So you could use one of these or just the original one and copy paste it into your lab. All right, edit, copy, and then you could paste it. And the other command that we're asking you to run is something called host name. Okay, let me show you a convenient command. It's called clear. So you'll notice that we're scrolling up here. But sometimes it's convenient to just type clear. All right, I'll put that in the notes. All right. So host name is going to tell you what is the name of your computer on the internet. So we have two versions of that. And actually they're both giving the same result. So, and in the lab it tells you to do both. So you'll do both on our servers, and you'll copy and paste. And this isn't the computer that you'll be using. And you can paste that in. Okay, so that's the kind of things you can do. That's the flavor of what a terminal window with a shell is and how that works. And that's the flavor for what you can do. And now you're going to do the lab yourself. Thank you.